Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Albert. I'm a full-time healthcare worker and I sell used books on Amazon part-time. Today is going to be part 2 of how to use ScanLister. If you haven't watched the first video, pause, go back and watch it. It talks about what ScanLister is, how to get started. And today's video is going to be the continuation of that. So part 2, once you've scanned all your books, how do you get them sent over to Amazon? Let's get right into it. So from last time we talked about this is, I should give you a notice or a heads up. From the time I did the last video to today's video, ScanLister they've actually come up with an update. So not much has changed, but one crucial thing that's different is that if you watch my previous video, you'll notice that on the right here, on the top right, there was options to kind of build your condition notes. That's gone, so that's no longer there. So you know how they have those pre-existing options that you can just select and create a note. As far as I know, that's not there anymore, and in my opinion, it makes it a little bit more cumbersome at first because I can no longer just create a custom note on the fly. Now you actually have to go in there and you have to create your pre-existing condition notes that you can select as you go. However, there's more work at front in the beginning. So anyways, how it works now is instead of being custom notes there, you have to go into your settings in the bottom right here, and then you'll notice suppliers and conditions, and now there's a conditions notes tab that wasn't there before. So you're going to go in there and you have to select, you're going to create a new one, right? So let's say I want to create a new one based on one that I've had before. I can just hit add new. It's going to create a new line. I can just go in there and double click, and then here I can type in what I want that condition note to say. So sometimes, let's say I'll have a book that has like a signature of the author, or something else, something like specific. So what I would do is I go in here and I type in signed by author perhaps, and then let's say the book is in good condition, so I can say maybe book is in good condition, because like I told you in my last video, all my books are either good condition or acceptable. And then after that, I'll always end it up with ships direct, or I should say ships direct from Amazon exclamation. And then I have to choose my condition, so it's going to be good. So here you're going to have a lot of them, right? So you can go in here and create all these different presets. But once you're happy with that, you hit that, you choose your condition, it's going to be used good, and then you're going to hit save and close. So from there, what you're doing is you're no longer creating a condition note as you go. You're going to have them preset, and then as you scan them, you can go in there and choose it. So let's say the next book I'm going to scan is this signed by author one that I talked about. I'm going to go in here, choose my condition, use good, and then it's going to show up as a drop down in one of the drop downs like here, and you'll notice here it says the one I just put in, signed by author, book is in good condition, ships straight from Amazon. So that's what I just made. So then I'm going to go ahead and scan my book and then I'll just move on to the next one. So it's a little different from before. As I mentioned, it's going to take a little bit more work at the beginning. You're going to have like all these different types of condition notes for different situations. But I mean, at least you can go in there and like kind of set it up beforehand. So it's a little bit different, but like I said, it's not too bad. I think it's going to get some getting used to, but it's going to be after that. It's going to be okay after that. All right, so that's kind of like what I've noticed with the major change was to update the ScanLister. I haven't really discovered anything else that's new, so until I find it, maybe I'll make another video about some of the updates, but for now, that's the only major thing that I've noticed. One more thing that I noticed is that now there's a huge flag at the top right. So because I sell in Canada, there's a huge Canadian flag. Maybe because that's probably there because some people probably they're selling in multiple regions while using ScanLister, so maybe they want to make sure that they're in the right section. Which is what I just noticed now. It no longer says marketplace, because before we would say marketplace or something, it says Canada.ca. Now there's a huge flag. So it's a little bit more visual, but not too much of a change. Okay, anyways, let's get right back into the rest of the video. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and scanned all the books that I have right now to send to Amazon. I don't have too many. I've only got 75 books this time. I typically send about 100 to 150 books per week. But lately I've been taking a little bit more relaxed approach just because it's summertime and I think we're trying to spend more time with friends and family. So I haven't been too heavy on the book grind lately, but soon I'm going to get right back into it because my numbers, I should say my inventory count is starting to go down, and I'm not keeping up with my sales. So something to think about. Anyways, so I've gone ahead and I scanned all my books, and I have my custom SKU that I made. All right. You've got all the IDs and the ASINs here. I have my price set to $66.66 as I mentioned in my previous video, and then I have my condition notes with the conditions with the notes attached to it. Okay, so I've got 75 books here, and now once I've got them all scanned, and I've got them all labeled. So remember, each time you scan a book, a FN SKU label generates, and then you just slap it onto your book. All my books are scanned, all my books are labeled, and they're ready to go. So now I have to start shipping them. So in terms of ScanLister, what you're going to do first is, because we are fulfilled by Amazon business model, we're going to go here in the bottom left, and I'm going to click Preview FBA Shipments. Okay, this is going to allow the system to know, okay, this guy is sending books to FBA, so they have to create a shipment to send to Amazon. Okay, the system ScanLister will then list the books for you on Amazon while you're preparing the shipment. So you don't have to go into Amazon and create a listing separately from the system. It will do it for you at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to go here and hit list. It's not going to do it right away. It's going to show me kind of what I'm looking at first. So don't be afraid to click this button right away. But let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click list. Okay, now it's creating a shipment plan as to where Amazon is expecting us to send these books, because there's multiple fulfillment centers across the country, right? It's going to takes a few seconds, and boom, now it's telling me that it's given it a shipment ID FBA something. There are 75 SKUs and 75 items. Okay, so sometimes that number will be different because you may have multiple copies of one book. But that just shows what Amazon is expecting, and as I mentioned before, I have 75 books, so it's saying 75 items. It's telling me YYC4 destination. So that, I believe, YYC4, I believe that's, I'm not sure exactly where it is. There's a few of them. I mean, there's several of them in kind of Toronto area. There's a Calgary one. There's some in Ottawa. So just depends where Amazon wants you to send these books. Okay, for the most part, I haven't come across the issue where Amazon wants you to send it to multiple different locations. So sometimes they'll actually split your shipment into multiple destinations, which is a pain in the butt for you because you're actually end up paying more money, and it's a bit of a time waste because then you have to create two separate shipments, and it's not very efficient. So if that ever comes across, or I should say, if you ever come across a situation, you can actually pay Amazon, I believe, to kind of make sure that you don't have that issue. So there's a little bit more money for that to happen. But I personally have not come across that situation yet. Okay, so maybe because my shipments are never that huge, they're only about 75, 100, 150. But you may come across a point where it's going to tell you two different places. So just to keep an eye out for that. I can create a YouTube video for that if I ever come across that situation myself. I'm aware of how to do it, but it's hard to show you guys what to do unless I have it on my system, unless it's telling me to do it. So the future video down the line if it ever comes up. Okay, so it's telling me destination YYC4, and now it has all the books that I've scanned with the SKUs and the titles and whatnot. Okay, I can then, if I want to, create a shipment from here, and then once I hit this button that says create shipments and finish, now that file, or I should say all these books and the shipment ID is going to get uploaded to Amazon, your Amazon Central profile. And then the shipment is going to be created in your system, and it's going to be expecting it, okay? And then all the books are going to get listed on your profile, your store, obviously inactive because it doesn't have the book available, but it's going to actually create the listing once you hit that button, okay? So you want to make sure that everything is good before you do this, because once you hit that button, there's no going back, essentially. Like, if you do make a mistake, you're going to have to go into Amazon Central and kind of one at a time fix it. So you want to make sure that you are good to go, and you didn't miss any books, and that you are set. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that create shipment and finish, because I know I've gone through my books already. They're all labeled, they're all cleaned, all the weird stuff has been removed, so all like the store labels have been taken off, so everything's good to go. I'm ready to go. So and I'm happy with the fact that it's only going to one place. Okay, so I'm going to hit shipments and finish. Yes, I want to create the shipment. That's going to confirmation. It's going to upload all that information to Amazon. Here it says, boom, it clears it from your list, and now all the books have been uploaded to Amazon, and now there is a shipment ID ready to be sent. Okay, so what does that look like now? So now you're wondering what happened. All your information's gone. Okay, so there are multiple ways that you can create a shipment, or actually you can fulfill a shipment to Amazon FBA. The way I like to do it is called box content. So what I'll do here on the bottom, you actually say box content. You're going to click that, and now it's going to show you one column on the left and a whole bunch of lines on the right. Okay, what this is going to do is you're going to hit start new, and you're going to select the shipment that you just created. So you just hit next here, and then boom, it's going to show up. It's going to be one because you should be creating shipments and sending them as you go, so there should only be one. You're going to select that, hit OK. It's going to download the shipment ID that you just created with all the books that you just made. And then it's going to have it all set up for you. And I'll show you in a second once it's done loading. Okay, boom. So now you can see on the left, it's going to YYC4. Remember, it's expecting 75 items. And this number here is your shipment ID. Okay. Amazon uses something called 2D barcodes, which are these really large barcodes. They look like that big. That allows the Amazon staff to scan, and it tells them exactly what's in each box. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to create, you're going to have your boxes kind of ready to go. I'm lucky enough, or I should say I'm fortunate enough to have free boxes, because where I work in my job, we receive like boxes all the time for drugs. And I'm able to get the same size box every time for free, and I get them like every week. So I actually don't pay for my boxes, whereas some people, they would get maybe the ones from Home Depot or some of the storage companies. They have boxes you can buy. However you're able to get boxes, I would definitely suggest trying to get the same one every time, so that you know what size it is, and then you're aware of like how much it weighs every time, because weight does play a huge factor when it comes to shipping your books. So I'm lucky to have the same box every time. But in any case, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to create a new box. And this is where, once the create box is open, this is where you're going to start scanning your books. Okay, the books, and what I mean by scanning your books is you're taking the books that you've labeled, and you're going to scan your FNSKU label, so your Amazon label you've slapped on that book. You are going to scan that label, and as you scan the label, or as you scan the books, you're going to start packing the books into boxes. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to show you a few samples of what that looks like. So imagine I've got my box, and I've got my box ready to go, and I'm going to start packing my box. Okay, and obviously you can only fit so many books in per box. So once you've filled up your box, you got to move on to the next one. So I'm going to show you, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, I got my first box ready to go. I'm going to scan my first FNSKU label like so, and now it's telling me that the first book I've scanned is going in box number 1. It's going to warehouse YYC4. Okay, and that's the shipment ID. So this is what you're going to keep doing this over and over again, and you're going to keep scanning the books that you've already labeled and you're getting prepped for shipping. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Scan that. So now I've got 2 books in box number 1, and I'm going to scan another one. 3 books in box number 1, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so let's imagine you've now filled up your box of books. Okay, you've packed it as much as you can so that there's no dead space, and there's no more room for a book. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to grab another box by hitting the plus sign here. It's going to create box number 2, and now you're going to continue to scan your books and pack your box as you go. So I'm going to do that again. So I've got some more books, and I'm going to imagine that first box is full. And now I'm going to start scanning books into my second box. Okay, you'll see here that's one more box, one more book, another book, and then in my third book, you'll notice on the right it says the box number. The first 3 were box number 1, and now the next 3 I've scanned were box number 2. It also shows the quantity of each book. So normally when we're doing used books, we have one of each. You may come across a situation where you have multiples, but for now, usually they're just one. And you'll notice that as the shipment IDs are all the same and they're all going to the same place. There's also a picture of the book, just in case you want it for a visual reference. Sometimes what might happen is you'll be filling a box, and then let's say you've scanned it. However, you realize, oh, you scanned the book, but there's actually no space for that book, so you gotta take it out. To do that, you just select one of the book that you're working on, and you can just delete the row by hitting the delete row button, and it just removes that book from that box, and then it opens it up for something else, for another box as you go. Okay. You'll notice that for now I've scanned 6 books, and it says on the top left that it has 6 out of 75 items scanned, so it's expecting much more, like 69. Much more books to be scanned. I'm just showing you kind of how it works as you're scanning each book to go into the box. Once you fill that box, you're moving on to the next one. Okay, so let's imagine I've filled up 2 boxes of books. I'm obviously going to have more books scanned, but this is just for the video for you guys to understand how it works. So I've got my first 2 boxes, they're full. Now I'm going to move on to the 3rd box by hitting the plus sign. I'm going to scan again. So I'm going to scan some more books. Okay, I've got some more books here. I'm going to start scanning. Remember, I've added another box. Here we go. Now it's being added to box number 3. You'll notice at the top, on the right side, it says box number 3. Okay. And remember, these are books that you've already scanned and labeled. So you're scanning the FNSKU label to go into these ones, right? Because you've covered the barcode already. Okay, so imagine I have 3 boxes of books that are full. Okay, you'll see I have 3 here. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to print the 2D barcodes for each of the boxes. The 2D barcodes are printed on a 4x6 label, so they're not printed on the little tiny labels that you put onto a book. They're printed on the large 4x6 labels that you would normally get a shipping label for. Okay, those are going to print out, and then you slap that label onto the box that you filled, so that the people, like I said, working at Amazon are able to know that once they scan that 2D barcode, they know what's in that box, they know what to expect. Make sense? Okay, and you're going to keep doing that until you're finished. And once you're done, you've got all the 2D barcodes ready to go. You filled all your boxes, and at that point, your ScanLister is pretty much done. You're finished because you've assigned each box with a 2D barcode that you've printed out when you're done. And that 2D barcode contains all the information that these Amazon employees need to know what to expect inside that box. Okay? Following that, you're then going to go back into Amazon Central. You're going to complete the shipment. I can make a separate video about that, considering that that's not really how it's not part of ScanLister. But for ScanLister, this is pretty much as far as you need to go. You've scanned all the books into the beginning, the first part. You've made all the condition notes and ready to go. And then now you've created the shipment, which is sitting in Amazon ready to go. And now you're assigning each box with what's inside them so that Amazon knows what to expect. You've got your 2D barcodes, and then you've printed them off, you slap them on the box, and then now you just go back into Amazon and finish the shipment. Which there's a few steps involved. It asks you to weigh each box. So if you have a scanner, it's really not a scanner, a scale. It's really good. But then it's going to ask you to pay for shipping, and it's going to ask you for the measurements for each box. Like I said earlier, it's really good to have the same size so you actually know what it is, so you can just type it in really quickly. But yeah, that's how I use ScanLister to finish my shipments. As I mentioned, this is just an example of what it looks like. I'm going to have much more books per box. Like I said, the system is expecting me to have 75 books scanned. So usually that, for me, 75 books, that's about 5-6 boxes roughly. And like I said, I send about 150 books per week, which usually ends up to about 8 or 9 boxes for me. And then I'll have UPS come and pick them up. They charge me here in Toronto, because I'm based in Toronto. When I order UPS to come pick up my boxes, it costs usually about $2. And they'll come to my house and they'll pick it up for me for free. So I used to actually bring them to the UPS store and drop them off. But then I realized that I can just have them come pick it up at my house and just makes it a lot easier because I don't need to carry these heavy boxes of books. Tip for you guys, especially if you have your own thermal printer, is that the labels that you're going to use to print the 2D barcodes, like the shipping labels, you can get those for free from UPS if you create a business account. To create a business account, it's free. You don't need to pay for anything. You just have to have a credit card and some business information. So if you have a business registration, you can get a free UPS shipping account, and with that shipping account, you can get free shipping supplies. So we're talking about like boxes, some bags. But for me, mainly what I do is I get the free 4x6 thermal labels. They send it to your house. It takes like a day or two, and they're absolutely free. So that's a tip. So you never have to buy those labels, but you will have to find the small little like barcode labels that you're going to use. Those ones they don't provide. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I can make another video about how to work with Amazon Central. It's a little bit more complicated, I should say, because it's such a huge software for people to use. But if you guys want, I can make a video about how the shipping process in Amazon Central works, and then how you can kind of finish off everything to make sure that it gets sent off to Amazon. There are some tips and tricks as to kind of make it go faster that I can go over. But if you guys want a video like that, let me know in the comments. I could try to make one as soon as I can. I have some other videos that are coming down the pipe, talking about some that are maybe how to make better buying decisions when you're scanning books. And some of you have talked about other topics that I need to look into as well. But in any case, hope you guys enjoyed the video about ScanLister. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. I make these videos for you guys. Hopefully I can help share the knowledge that I've gained for myself. Like I said, all this has been self-taught. So hopefully I can help you guys make better decisions, increase your efficiencies, and maybe help you sell some more books. All right, until the next video, happy reading. Catch you in the next one.